After a slight head injury, an unhappy woman starts charging people for her physical help because she wants to feel good. At the park, Abby Abelman hurts her face, and she, her wife Kate, and their kids, Mayor and Jake, rush back to the car. While going to the hospital, the kids argue about whose fault it was that their mom got hit with a baseball. Jake says he was trying to throw it at his sister, but Mayor says it was his fault. Abby, feeling upset and in pain, tells her children to stop talking. In the hospital, Kate wonders if she was too harsh with the kids, but Abby just shows her bleeding injury. Abby tells Kate she's still going to work despite the injury. Later, she goes to the store and cleans the house. In the afternoon, she chats with other moms at her children's school, including her friend Prue. They playfully talk about her injury. While walking down the hall, she greets Sam, another parent. A bit later, Abby goes to pick up Jake and Mayor, and the teacher asks if she can donate candy for the Halloween party. In the evening, Kate asks how Abby is feeling. Abby says things are still unclear. The next day, Abby and her employee Justin check out an apartment she plans to renovate and sell. That night, Abby tells Kate she's buying the apartment as an investment. The following morning, Abby tells Justin he needs to work every day to finish the renovation on time, and she won't always be on site. Later, she sees a couple on the street and thinks about how she and Kate used to be. That night, she tries to be intimate with Kate, but her wife falls asleep. The next day, Abby pushes herself too hard on the treadmill and ends up throwing up. In the afternoon, the woman meets someone for a private meeting in a hotel room. After paying, they engage in intimate activities, even though Abby seems uncomfortable. When she returns home, she takes a shower to remove any signs of what happened. The next day, Abby confides in Justin about her actions. At first, he doesn't respond, not wanting to get involved in his boss's personal life. However, she feels it might be selfish not to tell her wife, so Justin asks if Abby and Kate have an agreement that allows them to be with other people as long as they keep it secret. Abby suggests they don't have such an understanding. He also inquires if she plans to meet the person again, and she says it's unlikely because she found the individual unclean and using illegal substances. Later that day, she takes an electric guitar to the music store for repairs and asks her kids to stop making noise with a drum. The following day, Justin gives Abby the phone number of a professional companion and assures her that this person will be better than the previous one. During dinner, Abby mentions that their friend, Sarah, is going through a divorce. Kate suggests telling Sarah to contact her, as she's a divorce attorney. Sarah had told her husband that she couldn't breathe, which Kate finds silly. She adds that Sarah should have had physical relationships because it's just a physical act. Abby thinks this means her wife might be okay with her being with other people to satisfy her physical needs. The next day, the companion, Gretchen, comes to the partially renovated apartment and provides companionship to Abby. After their encounter, Gretchen mentions that she enjoys her work, and it helps pay for her education. She also talks about working for someone who arranges her clients. Gretchen asks if she'll see Abby again, but Abby says it's too expensive for regular meetings. Gretchen expresses her disappointment but compliments Abby's abilities, making her happy. In the afternoon, Abby welcomes caterers to deliver food she ordered into the house. During a dinner party with their friends, Abby interrupts her wife's conversation. Kate praises Abby's cooking, even though she had the food catered because she was short on time after her meeting with Gretchen. The next day, Justin, who's dating the girl, tells Abby he met Gretchen last night. He says Gretchen suggested that Abby could take a few clients, especially inexperienced women with money to spend. At first, Abby thinks he's joking, but he offers to be the one who arranges her clients, and he only wants a small portion of what she earns. In her apartment, Abby thinks she should use the name Eleanor as an alias, even though Justin doesn't like it. When Abby says she wants to meet her clients for coffee before accepting them, Justin says it's not the usual way, but Abby insists. The following day, she sees her first client through the coffee shop window and realizes she's too young. So she calls Justin to tell him she's turning down the client, and he suggests trying again tomorrow. At home, Abby asks her daughter Mayor what they're learning in school, and Mayor says they're working on a presentation about the Dominican Republic. The next morning, she meets her next client, a woman who hired her to gain more experience for her women's studies class in school. The next day, Abby lets the client into her apartment, where she considers the woman's lack of experience and takes a slow approach to their private session. In her spinning class, Sam smiles at her from across the room, and Prue, who sees it, gives her a knowing look. In the coffee shop, a new client doesn't understand why they have to meet beforehand. The following day, Abby lets the same woman into her apartment, and the client gets straight to the point. In the following weeks, Abby continues her secret job, meeting and sleeping with various women, including Gretchen. At home, Kate asks Abby about her plans for the day, and Abby fibs, saying she and Justin are still working on the apartment renovation. Then, Kate reminds her not to be late picking up their kids from school, and Abby confidently assures her that she has never been late and won't be. Eventually, the girl meets Abby for the first time and explains that she needed to make sure she had a few successful sessions before talking to her. It turns out the girl is a law student who started a companion business after realizing she could make money from men who constantly hit on her. Abby shares her concern about her clients, mainly inexperienced women, with the girl. So the girl promises to look into offering more diverse options. Days later, a more experienced client arrives at Abby's apartment, and Abby's initial approach surprises her. As she's about to leave, the companion changes her mind and turns back around. During her next meeting with her first client, Abby discovers that the client's mother put her on a juice cleanse to lose weight. Abby advises her to ignore her mother's advice and lends her some self-help books to read. At home, the family enjoys playing basketball in the drive-away with their children. As Abby continues her secret job, she regularly goes to the doctor to make sure she hasn't caught any diseases. Weeks later, she looks through the coffee shop window and realizes her next client is Sam. Worried, she calls Justin and asks why he sent someone from her town. He explains that he didn't know Sam and Abby knew each other and suggests she go along with it. So, she sits across from Sam, who explains she got Justin's number from Prue because she was considering home renovations. However, when she messaged him, she ended up with Eleanor's companion. Eventually, she figures out that Eleanor is Abby's alias. The embarrassed woman thinks having a relationship is a bad idea, but Sam says they both have a lot to lose if word gets out about their meeting. When Abby asks why she wants to be with a woman, even though she's married to a man, Sam shares that despite her seemingly perfect life, she sometimes feels empty inside. A feeling Abby understands. That night, Abby thinks hard about whether to accept Sam as a client. The next day, she lets Sam into the apartment, and she takes a drink to calm her nerves. Nervously, she asks if Sam wants to talk first, but Sam says they already talked in the coffee shop. As Abby kisses Sam's neck, Sam mentions that she doesn't like the choice of tiles on the kitchen counter wall, and Abby agrees. Soon after, Sam asks Abby to pull her hair as they become intimate. After Sam leaves, Justin arrives and is surprised to find his boss removing tiles from the kitchen wall. The following day, Abby wakes up to find greeting cards and breakfast in bed prepared by Kate and the kids. During a dinner with friends, Abby shares with a male friend the moment she realized she was attracted to women. Meanwhile, Prue tells Kate that she should pay more attention to her wife's physical needs. In the next meeting with the older client, she opens up about her ex-husband. She admits that while he wasn't very assertive, she always knew he was a good man, and she sometimes misses him. The woman asks Abby if she has a family, and she shakes her head. But the client can tell Abby is lying because she noticed her C-section scar. When the client mentions that Abby might be using this job to escape, it upsets Abby, and she gets out of bed and puts on her robe. That night, Kate initiates intimacy, but she stops when Abby is too aggressive. The next day, Abby and Justin talk about her schedule for the upcoming week. When he brings up a client who wants to see her again, she declines and recounts how the woman physically harmed and insulted her during their session. Justin suggests she can quit if the job makes her uncomfortable, but Abby says she's okay. A few days later, her client doesn't show up at the apartment, and Justin asks if she got stood up, and she confirms it. So Abby meets with the girl to ask why she hasn't received any new referrals lately. The girl explains that Justin told her Abby didn't want new clients. Abby realizes Justin is intentionally preventing her from seeing clients. She gives the girl her number and they agree to bypass Justin as the middleman. The next day, Abby has another session with Sam and they become intimate. That evening, Kate calls and says she has a recently divorced male client looking for a place to stay and suggested the newly renovated apartment. The following day, her first client tells her it's the last time they'll meet because she wants to try being with men. Meanwhile, the school calls Kate to inform her that Abby forgot to pick up their children. That night, she apologizes for forgetting to pick the kids up earlier. The next day, Abby and Justin show Evan, Kate's client, around the apartment. Abby mentions they haven't finished renovating yet, but her wife says it looks completed. After the lawyer and the client leave, Justin suggests that Abby should sell the place so she can stop working as a companion. However, Abby disagrees and says her wife doesn't need to know the truth. A few days later, she sees Sam and her husband Graham in the grocery store. Against her better judgment, she approaches the couple and introduces herself to the man. After an awkward conversation where both women avoid revealing how they really know each other, Abby excuses herself and walks away. The next day, Abby and Kate go to Mayor's school presentation. After the event, Kate walks ahead even though Abby calls out to her. In the car, Abby calls Kate to ask where she went, and Kate says she had to go back to work. So Abby tells her she's going to the city to finish up work on the apartment. At the apartment, she spends time with a client. A while later, the door opens while she's in bed and Kate walks in. Kate grabs a robe and tells Abby to put it on. Then she sits on the floor, and Abby says she'll do whatever Kate wants her to do. Days later, Abby cries during a work call as she realizes how she messed up her marriage. Outside, Kate leaves the house without telling Abby where she's going. Then, Sam passes by while walking her dog and wonders why she hasn't seen Abby in spin class lately. Sam says they were great together, and Abby wonders why she was so good even though she's never been with women before. Sam clarifies that she never said she's never been with women. Abby thinks Sam hired her because she was bored, but now they share a secret they'll remember whenever they see each other. Abby asks Sam why she sleeps around when she has a loving husband who adores her. Instead of answering, Sam just laughs. That afternoon, when Kate returns, Abby compares her situation to their friend Sarah's and says she was just trying to breathe, which led to her actions. She tells Kate that she belongs to her, but Kate doesn't want her. So Abby finally admits that she realized she doesn't want to be with anyone, including Abby, although Abby has known all along but refused to believe it. During the contract signing with Evan, who's buying the apartment, Abby asks if he or his wife was the one who chose to leave the marriage. However, Evan says it's hard to say what really happened. That evening, Abby watches TV in bed while eating popcorn with Jake. The next day, she plays the piano with Mayor. Days later, Kate and Abby stand outside the house, and Kate suggests they build a white porch in front of their home, and Abby agrees. In spin class, Prue asks Abby about her weekend plans. Abby mentions her list of chores at home and shares that she and Kate intend to use some of the money from selling the apartment for a family trip to Argentina, which is what her wife desires. When Prue asks Abby what she personally wants to do, Abby says she's interested in trying hot yoga after the spin class. While they talk, Sam occasionally looks over at Abby from the other side of the room. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.